What's up, Mob Crew? I'm Chris, and also today's missing person case is Thailand Purnia. Also, today's missing person case is Destiny. Today's missing person case is Haley Bible. Also, today's missing person case is Isabel Grace. Also, today's missing person case is Alexa Ware. Further, today's missing person case is Also, today's missing person case is Aaron Teresa Lawrence. Today's missing person case is Jessica Marshik from What's up, Mob Crew? I'm Chris, and today's video. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Get this way. Oops. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Oh, my hand hurts. Oh, I got a cramp in my hand. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you can put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me okay. So we've got a big night. We got donation night tonight. So we're going to be donating to the Humane Society tonight. They're offering 3 times matching the donations. I was telling people earlier, my earlier live show, once you donate to the Humane Society, you get on kind of like a newsletter. They email you updates when they're going to be matching 2 times. And apparently this weekend, they're matching 3 times. So I've got the updated list of all the donations. So we started doing the donations for Humane Society on April 9th. So basically a week's worth of donations. Not a lot, but still quite a bit. So we'll go over that in a little bit. But if you'd like to donate, tonight would be the night because we'll be doing that live later towards the end of the show. And I appreciate everybody that's donated so far. And if you can't donate, that's okay. Just being here supports the channel, so I really appreciate it. What's Jennifer? What's they donate? So what happens, Jennifer, is they get different companies that match people's donations, and they're doing that all the time. So it's amazing here in Utah, and I'm sure they do it everywhere too. But here in Utah, the Humane Society, they just get different companies that will offer for the weekend or a day. They'll offer to match, either double or like tonight they're going to match 3 times. So I'm super excited to turn those donations in. And with it being, if it's 3 times, that's awesome because it's pretty much almost most of the donation is going towards the Humane Society, and it helps this channel. So it's a win-win for everybody. So all right. So we've got a couple of different approaches that we're going to do with the Delphi case. Liberty's grandmother was interviewed not too long ago. You really don't see the parents or the family really going and doing interviews, not since, in the first couple of years that it happened. So she kind of talks about this recent event with the Yellow or Yubu and the whole Anthony Shots account. So I'm going to play this little news video real quick, just kind of get people up to date with the new development on the Anthony Shots and this whole it's called Yellow now, but it used to be, I believe, Yubu, and it's a French app. It's like Tinder for teens. And so I'll play this article first.
13 Investigates is uncovering the first link between a fake social media profile run by Keegan Kline and the unsolved Delphi murders. So far, he has never been charged, but Kline was arrested in August of 2020 on 30 charges of child exploitation and pornography.
Thank you, Jennifer.
In the transcript of that 2020 police interview with Kline, just a few days after the bodies of Libby and Abby were discovered in Carroll County, another school-age girl gave her address to the Anthony Shots profile. That girl was getting off the school bus when she says she saw a man in a ski mask looking into her bedroom window. Now, Kline personally knew the girl and her family. And then 5 days later, police raided the home where Kline lived with his father in Miami County. They found over 100 sexually explicit images of underage girls on several devices. Now, in the 2020 interview, police questioned Kline about whether his father had access to those devices. The person behind Anthony Shots' profile was one of the last communications with Libby German before her murder. And after her death, the Anthony Shots profile told another person that he was supposed to meet up with Libby, but she never showed up. But look at what police told Keegan. Quote, "I can honestly sit here and I'm telling you that I do not believe that you killed Liberty." Keegan Kline is...
So what they're saying there is, so they interviewed Keegan and they released the transcripts of one of the interviews. And they don't think that he was directly involved, but they think that somebody, either maybe his father, Tony Kline, could have gained access to one of his devices that used the Anthony Shots account, or somebody else, maybe a friend, or even maybe somebody that he doesn't know directly. But so that's kind of the theory. They think there's two personalities that have been using Anthony Shots' account. The way they talk to the girls, they feel like there's two different people. One's, obviously Keegan Kline, and then the other one they're trying to figure out, and they feel like that could lead to a person of interest.
Not charged with the killings of Liberty German and Abigail Williams, as we've mentioned. Police did tell Kline, though, they believe a second person was communicating with the girls using his devices. Oh. Kline did not implicate his father either. Now, police are not saying if he has been questioned in the Delphi case.
Oh, thank you, True Crime with Shannon. Thank you so much. Welcome. Okay, so now I'll play the interview with I think it's Patty. I think her name is Liberty's grandmother. It's about 6 minutes, and excuse me, and it's 6 minutes, and then I'll kind of go over just an overview of the entire case, just for those that are kind of. I know most of you guys know this case forwards and backwards, but we'll kind of go over. I've got some pictures, as you can see, leading up to where BG catches up with the girls, and so just kind of give you a kind of a better visual perspective of what happened when he caught up to the two girls. So we'll play the interview with the grandmother, kind of speaking on all these latest events with the whole Keegan Kline thing. Becky Patty, yeah, thank you, Digital. Yeah, you guys are on it. So like I said, they haven't done interviews for a while that I know of. So it was kind of really surprising that this came out. Now, for some reason, the questions, the one that I got, they don't really. Some of them are in there, but usually it's just her answering the questions. But so not all the questions you'll get to hear.
We were led to believe that it wasn't social media, so I kind of hung my hat on that.
And this is as loud as it goes. I think it should be okay for the volume, but I'm sorry, it doesn't go any louder. I think it should be okay, but it is kind of soft.
We were led to believe that it wasn't social media. So I kind of hung my hat on that.
Thing that this interview they did, she buffers, so it's not me buffering, just warn you guys. This is sometimes it buffers on when she did the interview. So, for anybody that's on, you might be on iPhone. If anybody has iPhone, for some reason, Apple and YouTube are having a thing. And so, because Apple wants to have a percentage of when you donate a super chat or something. So from what I understand, some people with iPhones can only, if they're lucky, can send a super sticker. They can't send a super chat. So just if you want to send in something, you're on an iPhone, it won't let you. You have to actually, you can't use the YouTube app. You actually have to go into like a Google Chrome or something, and then go to YouTube on Google Chrome and do it that way. And some of them, you actually have to go even further than that and set your device, your iPhone, to what they call desktop mode. So, I don't know. I might have to do like a tutorial video on that. They do have tutorial videos out there, though. Yes, thank you, True Crime with Shannon. Yeah, a lot of this is kind of little bits and pieces of new information of kind of the days leading up, or I guess the day leading up to it. And, well, actually, the day of. Yeah, so I'm just curious. Has anybody heard of Yubo or Yellow? I'm curious in the chat. Actually, I want to poll you guys. Have you ever heard of Yubo until now? I'm going to poll you guys real quick. Yubo or Yellow. Sorry, guys. I'm just curious. So, dating app for teens. Okay, I'm going to poll you guys. I'm just curious. I have never heard of it, so I'm going to poll you guys and see if you guys have ever heard of Yubo or Yellow. Nothing else. Oh, let me unpin this. That'll be it. Actually, yeah, better. Okay, there it goes. Yeah, so I put that if you want to vote, but I've never heard of it. But now they're looking into this app to see if anybody, any girls out there during that time frame had used Yubo or Yellow, which... Yeah, so right now, all right, if we get time, I'll see if I can pull up the grandfathers. Apparently, you guys are saying there's also interview with grandfather. If we get time, we'll definitely check that out. So I'm just checking a look at the poll. So almost 90 votes. It's 94%, which is not surprising because I've never heard of Yubo or Yellow. Which is interesting. Makes me wonder a couple of things, and I'll share that towards the end of the video. I definitely think the catfishing thing's plausible. I just don't think Tony or Kagan really fit the build as far as person of interest, in my opinion. But we'll kind of discuss some of that in a minute. So, let's see. I'm just going to quickly recap the timeline real quick, and I'll just show you guys some pictures. And then I'll show you guys... So, Marvelous Investigates has been doing kind of a lineup of possible persons of interest, which is a really cool idea. But what they've done is they've kind of zoomed in on the video, the still image of the videos of the frames of BG. And since he's kind of at the side, what he did is he took one side and then he mirrored it, And so, because we got the symmetrical face. And he kind of really detailed out the nose. It's really interesting. And I'll go into that here after I just go over the timeline for people. I find it fascinating. I think... we got to try all possibilities and kind of think outside the box of, trying to help. So I am going to shut this poll. So it's pretty obviously that most people have never heard, or at least as far as Yubo and Yellow app, the dating app. So over 100 votes, 95%. So, yeah, it's not surprising. So, okay, so let's just quickly go over just the timeline for those that are kind of newer to the case. And then, like I said, I got a couple of things that I've been experimenting with, just trying to think outside the box. Thank you, Tom. And let's see, great coverage on Ariana. I had a theory on that. I'll touch on that if we get to that case. Yeah, the Ariana Taylor case. Yeah, I'm waiting for the final results on the autopsy because, yeah, it doesn't feel right to me. For sure. Let me go back here. Just give me 1 second. I'm pulling up the timeline here. Give you guys a little bit of a visual real quick here. But yeah, that case, just like I said, if you guys didn't catch my live last night, something just fell off. There's really only two routes that Ariana Taylor could have went, and neither one of them makes sense to me. But we'll see what the final results of this autopsy and see what happens there. So just a quick recap of the timeline of that day, and then we'll get into the new experiments that my channel and some other channels are trying to do with just trying to think of outside the box of things to do to try to help, solve this, I'm just kind of waiting for this to load up here. My apologies. So just to recap the timeline real quick. So the girls obviously, were it was kind of last minute thing to go to the Monon Bridge, and so Kelsi German, Liberty's sister, told them that she would drop them off, and then their father Derek, Liberty's father Derek, would come pick them up in a couple hours. So they get dropped off at approximately 1:38, 1:40. They get dropped off right here, which just leads right onto the 501 trail. It's not much of a parking lot, but it's just kind of like a shortcut. Instead of parking over by the Freedom Bridge, it's just kind of like a shortcut to get right onto the 501, and because they wanted to go to the Monon High Bridge, so they get dropped off there at 1:40, and so they start approaching the bridge, and then at 2:05 we get the first Snapchat picture of them looking at the bridge, and they're just on platform 2, looking the direction they're going, and then the picture we've seen a lot at 2:07. Liberty uploads, and this is of Abby, and this is while she's looking back from platform 3 from where they came. Now, I believe the plan is for the girls to just walk across the bridge, and when they get to the end is to actually just come back across the bridge, because you've got different properties here. And so it kind of says like no trespassing over here, and this is like a little private driveway. So I believe the girls were just going to go to the end of the bridge and then turn around and go back. So the picture at 2:07 at platform 3, and then we learned through the 5th year anniversary video that this 43-second video starts at 2:13. So from 6 minutes, the girls got towards the end of the bridge, and bridge guy. Now we've seen people say that they can walk across that bridge in about 5 minutes, and I'll play a little bit of the footage for people who haven't seen. This bridge has got some big gaps in it. And apparently some of the railroad ties are actually missing, so it's very scary. But I think this guy has walked this before. So at 2:13, he is passing, almost approaching platform 6 when this video starts. At 2:13. And now the girls, the law enforcement said in the press conference that in the beginning of this audio, the girls are at first talking about girl stuff. And then, of course, obviously, Libby's probably started recording because they see this guy that doesn't feel right. And so she begins recording. And so they say at the beginning, they talk about what girl stuff. And then we hear that they release an audio, and this is the audio they released.
Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill.
Oops. And it's believed that the guys, well, they said guys and down the hill are split. And the theory is, or the speculation I should say, is because apparently that this suspect possibly pulled out a gun and he cocks the gun and they didn't want the sound of the gun cocking in the video. So they splice up the two audio. And also something that I think most of you know, but I thought I'd play this. I haven't done this for a while. But if you're wondering, because there's other noises in the audio. And so I just kind of wanted to show you guys. So what also you're hearing in this, especially down the hill part of it. Okay, so what I'm playing right now is audio of somebody just walking on gravel. You can hear the gravel. Now, while that's playing, I'm going to play the audio one more time for those that are just wondering why this audio sounds kind of weird. And that's them. Hey, Marvelous Investigates. Oh, I'm glad you showed up. Awesome. I'm just going to talk about your video. So that sound is the sound of gravel. So he's kind of already corralling them when he says down the hill. And so I just kind of want to give you guys a little bit of a visual of the area. So as he catches up to him, this is looking at the end of the bridge. And then, like I said, we'll go over this. And I'm so glad Marvelous Investigates is here because I wanted to talk about their video that they did, was it yesterday? I think yesterday. Really good. So, okay, so this is a look at the end of the bridge right here. Now, this is where he, supposedly catches up to him. Tom says, no one knows who this guy is. I don't know much about this case. Yeah, so that's why I was kind of recapping, because there's always new people that haven't heard of this case. So I'll go over everything and what happened. So I thank you, Tom, so much. Actually, I just got to write that down. So if I stop, I'm just writing down, because since I'm donating tonight, I got to quickly do the math of the 35%. And, of course, I got to deduct the portion that YouTube takes. So, okay, so here we are looking at, let me clear that. Thank you so much, Tom. So here's looking at what their girls were seeing. And so right here is, you got this little gravel kind of walkway here. But as you can see, it's almost kind of like a dead end. And it's, I believe there was something that said like private property or no trespassing back here. Because this is, somebody's property here. And so the girls were kind of pinned. You've got this steep bank, and I've got another picture I'll show you in just a second. And apparently the girls say that there's only kind of like two ways to go. That's kind of like in the speculation. So, and then I just kind of put the two girls, just kind of give you an idea. So, let me go forward one. So here's kind of a look left of, so now you can kind of get an idea of the bank of the first hill, because there's actually two banks that these girls have to go down. And so this is kind of where I believe he's saying guys down the hill. And so they're probably walking, and this is the gravel you're hearing right now. So this is where he's saying guys down the hill. And this is, so here's the hill here, and here's the private driveway, which leads into one of the property owners. And so here's just kind of some arrows showing you which way they went down here. Here's another kind of a look. Like I said, it's kind of a steep bank that they got to go down. And there's two banks that they got to go down. Because there's one bank that leads to the private driveway, another bank, and then it leads to the creek. So now this is the second bank. So you would have the private driveway up here, and this is the second bank. So they're both steep banks they would go down. So it's speculation or theory would say that he was probably controlling them and having them go down this bank. And some people think that, let me pull this up real quick. And for some reason, Google Maps just came out with an update, and I can't for some reason I can't use my shift button and like spin it. I can zoom in, but I can't shift. So anyway, so what we're looking at, here's the private driveway right here. You would have the first bank right here, then you got the driveway, and then you'd have the second bank about right here. It's theorized that he was going to probably try to take him in this section here, because there's good cover. But I think what happened is so when the girls got down the second bank, and I just kind of put some arrows just to kind of give you an idea. Yeah, it does look steep. And I think maybe they thought when they were coming down this bank, maybe something happened. Maybe he lost his footing or something, and maybe he fell or something. And they're like, you know what, let's book it. And so they, and then matter of fact, Libby's shoe would be found somewhere around in this area, as a matter of fact. So it's believed that they started to run, and you got the creek over here, and I'll show you in just a second, but this is just another picture of the second bank they would be going down. And I think that he was probably going to take him somewhere back here, but maybe he tripped or something, or they just, let's try to run for it. And so here's some just arrows just kind of showing you just the idea of where the bank is at. So now we're looking at the creek. So about right here, if we were just kind of turn left from this picture, this is kind of what we'd be seeing, approximately. So here you've got the creek. It's got some deeper ends and some shallower ends. So they think that they tried to make a run across this creek. The problem is when you get to the other side of the creek, is a lot of this on this other side is you've kind of got these high little banks that come off the shoreline here. So they would almost have to kind of climb up. There is some sides, I believe, that you can that are lower, but as you can see, and I've got some more pictures, there's some high banks right here. And so I think, and here's kind of a guy standing, and so you can kind of get an idea of some of this other side that sadly, they probably run it through the creek, and maybe they started getting ahead of him, and then maybe in the creek, one of them got across on the bank, but the other one kind of fell behind. He caught up to him and maybe put the gun to the girl that fell behind and told the other girl, hey, if you run anymore, I'm going to shoot her. There's tons of, scenarios that could have happened. And so it's believed that he obviously caught back up to him. And the bodies would be found in this area here. Thank you, Apple Pip. I gotta figure out you. Thank you so much, Apple Pip. I like that name. Oh no, my pin's not working. Yeah, I think they tried. Yeah, Jennifer says they ran across the creek. In my opinion, yeah, I think so too. I think when he was probably hauling him down that second bank, maybe he tripped or something, and they're like, let's go for it, and because that's a steep bank, and then it was just kind of chaos from there. One of them probably got across the creek faster, and then somebody fell behind and he caught up to him. So here, like I said, this is on the side of the bank that they were found, or the side of the river, and here's, like I said, there's a little bit of shoreline here, and then you've just got these tall little, like 4-foot banks. I know there's some areas that are lower that they could have probably walked up. What town is it? This is in, I will show you, Tom, in just a second. How close is this from the interstate? What town is this in? So this is in Delphi, Indiana. And so this is, the bodies would be found, sadly, the next day, because the girls did not make the rendezvous with the Derek German. And they went and did a search party that night, could not find the girls. Marva says, I didn't cross the creek, I climbed back up. Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's a lot of high banks on that little shoreline there. So anyway, so here's just kind of an area that's taped off. So this is on, obviously, the other side of the creek. Let me pull up the overview map just to kind of give you guys where we're at right now. So, actually, I should have done that. So let me back up just one. So where we're looking at from right here is probably somewhere in this area. Let's see. Yeah, probably somewhere about in this area here. Now, I think when they took this picture, let's see, what date is this? Let's see when this is taken. It doesn't say the month. Clearly, this is a time where the shoreline, the creek is a lot not as full. But let's see. So yeah. So this is where we're looking. Is probably about right here where I got the mouse. Let me zoom out for Tom here. So you've got Interstate 25, which is the Hoosier Highway. I believe this is the Hoosier Highway, which is kind of newer, from what I understand. And yeah, the Hoosier Heartland Highway. And apparently, the Freedom Bridge, you know, is kind of known to people, but the Monon High Bridge is something that's kind of more known to locals. This is kind of a historic to the town. The bridge, that's why they've kept it, you know. And so anyway, so kind of zooming back into where we were at. So like I said, there's just come some pictures of the creek on the other side. Now we're facing the other way, and as a matter of fact, this guy is actually standing and pointing. I believe this is actually one of the property owners, if I understand, if I remember correctly. But apparently he's pointing to where they found the bodies. So as you can kind of see where the creek is at, and then the tape. So the tape would have probably been taped off somewhere like right here. So apparently the bodies were found somewhere in this area, and I kind of put a little diagram here. So they were found approximately, zooming out, probably about right in this area here. Approximately. So yeah, that's the last pet. So there's that. So for people like Tom, like I said, they found the girls the next day. Sadly, they have not released what happened to the girls because it's an ongoing investigation. And I don't want to talk about the condition of the bodies. There are rumors, and if you really want to look it up, you can look it up on Reddit. But it sounds like they encountered a true monster. And yeah. So I think on that note, I think we'll hit halftime for a minute. And then we'll get into what Mr. Investigates did yesterday. I'm going to play just a little bit of their video. With some new ideas that they're doing, which I think is amazing. I have my own approach that I'm going after. I have a couple different approaches, actually. But, so we'll get into that. So if you're newer to the channel, I like to take just a break because we're always talking about bad stuff. And I encourage people to send in pics of their pets if they want. The mods can put my email in the chat. And my email is in all my videos. So this is from Cindy, and I didn't get the name of this little guy, sadly. But thank you, Cindy, for sending that in. This is Jill. This is a tuxedo cat. This is Floyd. And that is one little big kitty. Oh my gosh. That's a big boy. You guys know I love cats. This is from Christy B. This is Flake. That's a beautiful dog. Did a nice little background for him. And then this is from Gisla. This is from Grizzly True Crime. This is Fury, her cat Fury. Nice, beautiful black cat. This is from Jill. This is Jake. It's a brown nose lab. Yeah, that's funny. Very cute. And then Jill, I believe this is Aussie, which is an husky. It's got the two different eye colors. That's kind of cool. So that's Aussie. Another picture of Aussie hanging back. There's Jill on that. And this is from Lady M, and I'm not sure if I got the names right, so I'm just going to say COVID and Blue. I hope I pronounced that right. I am not even sure what this is. This looks like a little koala bear. It's so tiny. I can't tell what this is. You'll have to tell me, Lady M, if you're in there. And thank you. Yeah, here's your babies, Lady M. So, is it COVID in Blue? You'll have to tell me, Lady M, who we're looking at here. So, and then this is also from Lady M, which looks exactly like the chicken we have out front. So, she was chasing the chicken in another video, which is funny. So, all right, we'll do the halftime video. Oh my gosh, you know what? I didn't even get into the missing. All right, hold on. Let me jump over to the missing real quick. Gosh. I am so sorry. Actually, that's probably good because we got more viewers in. So, real quick, we get into the missing and we'll do the halftime video, and then we'll get into the second half of the show, which we got some interesting approaches that we're going to be trying to do. So, this is Davy Parker. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. She went missing on the 2nd of April, 13 days ago. She got brown hair, brown eyes. She got streaks in her hair, blue streaks. She's got a tattoo of a bat on her left shoulder. Last seen at her home in Jersey City, New Jersey. So, on the weekend. Interesting. Last seen at her home. So, anybody in New Jersey, keep a lookout for Davy Parker. And this is Richard Palmer, 13. He went missing in February on the 10th. Brown hair, brown eyes as well. Just 13 years old. Missing from Houston, Texas. So, looks like a handsome boy. So, if anybody's in Houston, Texas, keep an eye out for him. All right, we'll do the halftime show, which this will probably be the last time I play the halftime show, and then I'm going to be doing another one because I got to retire Gary Huge. But for one more time, you guys get to see it one last time, and then we're going to retire Gary Huge for a while. But this is the donation dance, or smash the like button dance. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Tom Ann says, that guy doesn't look like he walks much. I'm definitely looking into this one. Sad story. Not any other people connected in the area or near the main highway. There is no way that this is the only... we'll see what... I'm assuming he's going to show his second part of his thought. So yeah, just as funny as it's right there. Thank you guys, and thank you for the donations. We'll be sending those in here soon. Yeah. So Tom, if you're new, like I said, if you're newer to this case, this happened. I forgot to mention the date because, like I said, I've gone over this case, and sometimes you got to forget that people are coming in that are new to this case. So this happened 5 years ago, February 13th. The bodies were found on the next day on Valentine's Day, sadly. This was 2017. So this happened just a little over 5 years. We just hit the 5-year anniversary, sadly. So, and so this is, for people like Tom that are new, this is the only thing they ever released. And then they released 2 sketches, but the first sketch got, they said, they released 1 sketch, and then 2 years later they came out and said, forget about this sketch and focus on a new sketch, and I'll show you that in a minute. But so yeah, they released from the 43-second video, they released that audio snippet that I played for you earlier, and then they released this, which is technically I think 48 frames, just like a second clip, really. And as you can see, it looks like he's kind of walking with a gimp or something for people that are new. Here, let me scoot this over just in case I'm blocking it. For those that are thinking that this guy's kind of walking with a limp or something, it's just the way that the recording is. And also he's changing his direction. So for those who have not seen this bridge, and not this one real quick. And then I'll go into my new theories. Just give you an idea of what this bridge is like. And I'm just going to kind of skip towards the end here. But this bridge is very high up. It's missing railroad ties. There's gaps. And yeah, if you fall, you will probably not survive. And I'm just going to kind of get to where he's kind of walking. So just going to give you an idea. So I'm going to, because this is 8 minutes here. So he would have been about right here when this video starts. Just kind of show you guys. This is platform 5 here.
And we're almost there.
So he would be somewhere up here when this video starts. Scoot this over here and I'll match this up real quick. Apologies, 1 second. See if I can do this right. Oh, not quite. Hopefully that plays okay. So this is probably where it'd start, right here. This is probably where he's at. Now notice how this tree's in the way. So he's probably starting to change his direction when this video starts. He's kind of probably going over. Because you've got branches that kind of stick out.
Platform 6.
So that's just kind of give you an idea.
The bridge. Ties get a little better. Walk quicker.
That's interesting. I never realized what she said right there. So she says that actually towards the end she says the ties get better. So he would have really made up some ground when this video started. That really makes sense too. So probably where he's starting is almost just a little bit before where she says, oh, these ties get better, which means like the gaps in between. As long as you stay in the middle, you're okay. Yeah. I haven't seen it personally, but I can only imagine. So, All right, let's just show a little bit of what Marvelous Investigates has been doing. Amazing work. If you would like to, let me mod you up real quick. If you want to drop your channel link, Edge is a mod, so you can drop a link. If you want to drop a link to your channel, I'm going to play just a little bit of your video here and show what their team has been doing, which I think is amazing work. I've been on one show, and I'd like to come on, be a part of part 2 if you guys would have me on. Okay. So here we've got Marvelous Investigates. We got Frank. We got Steve, who's got a background in law enforcement. And I'm sure if Marvelous wants to... Marvelous, you could tell the chat what Steve, his background, just what he... I kind of forget. And I don't want to speculate. Halftime. The only one that this guy has done. Takes a monster to do something like this. He's wearing trucker boots, it looks like. How far is this from their home? If I get a chance, I'll show you, Tom. I am going to be doing a full video, just a full timeline, probably in it's going to take me a couple weeks to really... Yes, I would love to come on for your part 2. So, their part 1, they're doing persons of interest. Now, they just use... initials, like how I like it on my show, because I hate for people to drop full names. We've kind of talked about, when you start mentioning names that haven't really been dropped before, and people get tunnel vision and think that's the killer, and it turns out not to be the killer. If you haven't seen like the Netflix series Don't F with Cats, it's a perfect example of sleuth investigating at its finest and at its worst, because it was kind of like a double-edged sword, because they did amazing work, but unfortunately before they caught the guy, they thought they found him in a Facebook group or something, but it ended up being a completely different guy, and this Facebook group harassed this guy on Facebook, and sadly he was already like depressed, and it caused him to, kind of pushed him over the line, and he killed himself. So we don't want that. We don't want any of that. Anyway, back to Marvelous Investigates. So let me skip it forward. But so this is photo. You may have seen this if you follow this case. If not, this is a close-up, and if I understand, this is like a satellite image or something. Marvelous Investigates could probably describe this. They never really released this officially in the public, but I think it's probably one of the best close-ups you'll get of kind of like the features of the face. Let me blow this up just a little bit. But what Steve did is he zoomed in, and so, like I said, since you're only looking at the image because he's kind of at the side a little bit, you don't see his, you're not looking straight on at his face because the girls are kind of standing to the side when they're filming. So he kind of mirrored the image, and he got a pretty good a description of what I believe is the nose, which is the bridge of the nose. So this is what we're looking at. Unfortunately, I can't zoom in because I don't have the actual photo. NASA photo, yeah. Thank you, NASA photo. So this is the bridge of the nose. You can really kind of make it out. I wish I could zoom in, but I don't have the photo with me. But so they started comparing, because once you've got a nose, I mean, you can really start to knock off persons of interest, and kind of see which ones fit and which ones don't. And like I said, they did a 2-hour video, and if you want to check it out, it's on Marvelous Investigates. And so I'm just going to skip forward and show you kind of some of these guys kind of had some of the noses that were possible persons of interest. And then some had bigger noses. But I think this is, great work thinking outside the box, trying different theories and stuff to try to figure out who this guy is. I really wish they could release more of the footage. A theory that me and Marvelous and I think some other channels agrees. It really feels like something's kind of been altered with this the video. But yeah, this is. I really do. This is great stuff. I agree. And so, yeah, like I said, I think it looks like he has a link. I heard TD also had a link. Oh yeah. Thank you for using initials though. So yeah, here's a good little bit close up. So perfect. So like you said, you can really kind of make out. Like I said, he kind of mirrored the image, which is a brilliant idea. Because like I said, when you're filming somebody and he's kind of at the side, so you can't really see. I mean, you kind of see the face, but it's not as prevalent as this side. So what he did is he just kind of mirrored the image, and I think that was a great idea. So we're just kind of looking at a zoomed in. I know for some people maybe not have great eyesight. They're probably just looking at a fuzz, a blur. But I think it's amazing work. And like I said, this was a NASA photo that was not really released. And Randy got a hold of it. I forget. And then you guys just kind of answered questions. So they're going to be doing a part 2, and that is tomorrow, I believe. And so I think I will be going on their panel, which I'm super excited for, because I think that's we got to try everything. It's been 5 years. Yeah, one has to think, if BG was your bro or dad, would you recognize him from this piece of footage? Yeah, I could see Jesus. Yeah, I know, it's tough. But I like their idea, so that's why they're looking at they're matching the nose to these persons of interest. I think it's a great idea. I like it. I can't believe no one knows who this guy is. I'm going to look into any incidents near the neighboring states who conjoined highways. This is so random it seems, but maybe not. Was any DNA present? So DNA is, they say that there's some kind of DNA. I believe it's some kind of weak DNA. It might be a hair, but not a full hair sample. Maybe Libby, it's theorized that Libby kind of put up a fight. Maybe she pulled on his hair or something, got maybe, a piece of hair. Apparently if you rip out the hair, it can be missing a piece, so they could still get DNA from it, but it's not going to be the full profile. So that's why like this whole new familial genealogy DNA is like great, because then they can kind of get the family tree of who it belongs to of the DNA, and then they can start, working backwards from there, which is, so I definitely think this will be solved one way or another, but I think there's weak DNA, but that's, like I said, the DNA is, they've kind of came out and said that there was, and then they kind of backtracked on it, so, but anywho, so one of the things I've been doing, and I'm going to be going out, so as you guys know, I've been getting my car fixed, and so, but I've been doing what I call control tests, where I actually go out, because I was trying to figure out what he was wearing and stuff, and I kind of wanted to match it up to what he was wearing. Actually, that's in this one here. I got the photo in there. Just waiting for this to load up here. That's the one that I want. Where's the one that I want? Okay, yeah, there's the one I want. So I've been doing some control tests because I kind of wanted to figure out what he was wearing. So here's BG himself, and I went out and I did control tests, and I tried different uniforms, different hats, because some people think he's wearing a baseball cap backwards. Some think it's a ivy cap or a driver's hat with no bill. Some think that this is a fanny pack or a deer kit. I don't think it's either. I think this is kind of probably just a hoodie, a brown hoodie. And I think we'll get it more into that in a minute. But I think this is just part of a brown hoodie. And in these tests, I had a burgundy hoodie because I couldn't find a brown hoodie that day. And so, like I said, I tried different hats, and like I said, and I've got more photos, but this one, the hoodie felt comfortable because the gun, you can access it easy. As you can kind of see his hand right here, you can clearly make out his hand right here. It looks like his coat actually goes up, and it's almost like he's got whatever he's holding almost under the coat, maybe either in the pocket of the hoodie or almost maybe just under the coat. Of the windbreaker, I mean. So, deer kit is kind of like a fanny pack, but it's set up for like knives and stuff. So think of a fanny pack, but it's got different. It's a toolkit slash fanny pack, and here's the deer kit. So that's kind of what that is. So like I said, I'm going to be going out and doing more controlled tests. I've only done 2 in, this was in February, but now the weather's starting to get better. And go out there and get some more footage and stuff. So I'm excited to do that. Now my approach, like I said, Marvelous Investigates, they've got their approach that they're doing with looking at the zoomed in bridge nose, which I think is great. And I am taking an approach, along with the control test that I'm doing. I am going to, so I've been told that I look like 2 different people, and I'm sure there's a few of you out there that get the same thing, that you get told that you look like. So I'm curious. I've been told that I look like Matthew Lillard. So I don't know. I don't know if I can make his face. Squint my eyes a little bit. Been told that I look like Matthew Lillard. And here's another one of Matthew Lillard. And then the other one is I've been told that I look like Zach Bagans. So I got my glasses on. Well, now I'm trying to here's another one of Zach Bagans. But then I need my hair more spiky. But anyway, so my theory is what if BG is like the same way and he looks like a celebrity or something? So just thinking outside the box. So with the sketch that we have now, don't see it. Like I said, that's what I get told. I used to spike my hair. Maybe it's just because I spiked my hair and maybe the blue eyes, I guess. But those are the 2 people. So anyway, so I just kind of had a theory. I'm like, I wonder if I can kind of match this, because this face really is like, to me, there's nothing that really sticks out other than the chin. So I'm like, you know what? Let's put these to some celebrities and see if I can kind of match them close to a celebrity. And then, what if just by some dumb chance, let me get to Tom's thing real quick. It seems if he slid down that slope, he would have dropped blood or something. Slid down that slope, he would have dropped blood or something. Yeah, I'll go into how he escaped if I get a chance. Yes, I think Zach Bagans. Yeah, more like Zach Bagans. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Tom, when I get a chance at the end, I will, as I'm donating, I'll go over, recap how they think he got away. Kevin Bacon did it. No, but it's gonna be crazy. The one that, okay, so like I said, yeah, I think it is a good idea. Thank you, Marvelous. Because what if by chance the BG people say, "Hey, man, you look like so and so celebrity or whatever," just by the dumb chance. So, and I actually put them together here, and so this is Clancy Brown. And the thing that I had to find is I had to find actors with big chins. Because like I said, this guy's got a big chin. So, I really had a tough time matching people to this face. It actually is quite hard. Unless you really unless you tweak with the original sketch, then you can make it work, But if you don't tweak with it and just, it's actually kind of hard to get some side by sides. This guy kind of got a unique, if it's great. Okay, I'm going to get to that guy at the end. All right, so here's Alec Baldwin. As you can see, Alec Baldwin is not the killer. But notice how you'll see I have trouble matching up the lips with the nose ratio, which I think is interesting. James Gordon. No, it doesn't look like he did. He's kind of like a broad nose right here. Doesn't quite match up. The nose to mouth matches up, which is kind of interesting because I was having a hard time matching it up. So I don't know. We'll keep an eye on James Gordon. It might be him. And then Ryan Gosling, because he's got a broad chin. And I gotta tweak his head a little bit. And he's got reddish brown hair. I don't know. Maybe. He's got the nose for it, though. I think Ryan Gosling, he's got the nose. Definitely he's got the same nose. Like, almost perfect. Like, they match up. Let me scoot this over just in case if it's blocking. But I think the noses actually match up quite well. So, just an idea. Okay. Let's see. Paul Rudd, he's one of my favorite actors. So as you can see, the chin just way out to match the nose, the mouth, and the chin. So Paul Rudd doesn't have a big enough chin. I said it's really hard to match people up with this sketch here. So it's not Paul Rudd. How about John Hamm? He's got a little bit. He kind of matches more, but he's got that broader nose at the tip here. So, but he's got blue eyes. Apparently, the suspect doesn't have blue eyes, from what we understand. So, it's not John Hamm. It looks close. Brad Pitt. I don't know why. This is the only photo I could find of Brad Pitt that's like looking straight. Like I had to get a picture that's looking straight. So I know this is not the best Brad Pitt picture. It kind of looks odd in this picture, but definitely does not match up. I could not. He don't have much of a chin on him. So yeah, as you can see, the chin don't even come close. So for all those Brad Pitt lovers out there, you ladies, Brad Pitt's not BG. So, all right, good night, Shannon. So, but here's the one that's crazy. No, not Michael Fassbender. But the one, wait till the one that it matches. It's crazy. So this is Michael Fassbender. He plays Magneto. Kind of matches a little bit. Nose a little bit broader. He's kind of got the nose, I guess. He's got the reddish brown hair, so it kind of matches, Maybe a Michael Fassbender look-alike. Then we got Daniel Day-Lewis, who's got a big chin. But still, even with his big chin, I could not match it up quite right. Like either I can bring the chin down and his mouth's way down here, because I'd always just kind of go for the nose. I could not get. As I said, this is kind of an interesting sketch. Okay, so now the one that's closest, and I can't believe it. Can't believe it. Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds almost match on everything. Look at that. One of my favorite actor, Ryan Reynolds. So just if someone's out there that you think suspicious and looks like kind of like Ryan Reynolds, I don't know. where was he? On February 13th of 2017. But I know that kind of freaks me out. Where was Ryan Reynolds? Sketch looks way off, makes him look a lot younger. This guy is a limp, 45 to 50 years, brown hair, thousands of thoughts rolling on this one. Yeah, if this is a new case to you, Tom, oh boy, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I've got a lot of videos on it, but yeah, there's a lot to take in. You got 5 years. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds is close, like super. I mean, almost. So that's like I said, this was just kind of a side theory. I'm like, you know what? Let's just, thinking outside the box. Now, who knows? Yeah, the sketch of this guy could be completely off from the one guy. But I do know if one thing that could be spot on is the nose, though. Because the nose and, from the video that I showed you from Marvelous Investigates, and I wish I should have asked them to send me in that picture they have. But the one thing that they took away from mirroring the image is that this guy's got kind of a thin, long, broad, not broad, but I guess narrow. It really kind of stands out. So I think they got the nose right. And I think the chin might be unique as well. But like I said, Ryan Reynolds, I pulled about 15 actors. And like I said, I had a tough time matching it up to the sketch. But like I said, it was just an outside theory. Outside the box theory. Just I was trying to do an experiment, I guess. But yeah, Ryan Reynolds. So, who knows? But, so let me close that up. And then, yeah, I'm going to turn in the donations. So I got to do the math real quick. So we've sent in 120 plus the $5. Then to the 10. I got to do the last little bit here. So we've sent in 130. I'm just going to round it up. So just from April 9th to today, we're going to be sending in $130. And I'll have to take a look. Yeah, I wish I could have put more people up to the sketch, but like I said, this is something new to my thing. So I'll just give you guys an idea. I just take all the donations, I write them down, and then I have to do a little bit of math on because YouTube takes 30%, and then I take the 35% from that, and then we donate that to the Humane Society. The sketch has two eyes close together. I wonder if they have another counter sketch. They do, Tom. They have two sketches, but the problem is, actually here, let me pull up. Let me go deep here. Yeah, Tom. Like I said, I've got it all. Second, Abby, in this one. So here is this sketch here. This is the original sketch they released. I'll pull out that one. Wait for everything to load in here. And then they released this one after. So this sketch was released in the very beginning. Now, the problem with the sketch is it looks like BG. This is the biggest problem, is it actually looks like him. Now, one of the reasons why it looks like him is because they actually put the actual accessories to this sketch. So they put the ivy cap on, and then they put the little hoodie on. So, if you were to take this off, then it would be something different. But to actually have that up there, and then you kind of pull this up, and if you zoom this in and stuff, you're like, oh yeah, I can see that, and it looks like he's got a big nose, but it's a grainy photo, so a grainy frame anyway, so it could be deceiving. But this sketch came out 2 years later, in 2019, those that are newer to this case, they said when they released the footage, they said that this sketch is now secondary, and basically to forget about this sketch, and now they moved on to the sketch that we were matching everybody up to. So then they moved to this sketch. So in the beginning, they believed that the guy was towards his 40s. Now they think this guy could anywhere be from 18 to 40, and might be younger, appear younger than he is, and that's where the catfishing and everything kind of plays in as well. So just kind of give you an idea. Yes, they did have another sketch. It does look a lot more like him, but that's just because it has the accessories, I think. So give me 1 second here, guys. So I'm going to turn in the donations before it gets too late. So I'm gonna. You can still donate, but from here, because I'd have to keep doing the math. So I'm just from here. I'm just gonna send in 130 right now, just so we can send that in. I'm gonna have to put it on the other screen because I'm gonna have to pull up some my information and. Give me a second while I do that. Yeah. So let me put that on that screen for a second. So give me 1 second and. I can't wait till, like I said, I'm newer to this live stuff, and eventually I'm going to have a better setup. You know, once we get a little bit bigger, I'm going to get another computer, actual desktop. Because I'm working on a laptop, but I'd like to have like 2 monitors and have faster monitors, because then I can work faster, and then it's not causing it to buffer and stuff. But Tom, I would. If you want to do some research, something that's really good is... Oops, not the murder sheet. I don't know why I'm putting the murder sheet in. And you'll get everything you need with the timeline and stuff. I like it's this link here, and I'm going to put it in. You guys are new to the case and kind of want to check out stuff. This has got really good information on it. I'm going to post this for you guys. That's for you, Tom, and anybody, if you're kind of newer to this. This has got everything. It's got the timeline. It talks about the 2 sketches. It's got photos. It's got the news articles. I think they did a really good job of putting this together. I'd say it's pretty accurate. So now, so I got that timeline up. I am just going to play the video of the bridge walk, her walking across the bridge while I quickly donate. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, so, yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, that's... I wish they could release more. I think there's a video I did, gosh, I think it's my last live I did on the... I have a playlist, Tom, if you get time. I think it's the last live I did. We actually kind of talked about why there is not more released footage from the 43 seconds. And if I get a second, maybe I'll talk about it before we end the show. But, oops. Oh, sweet. Thank you guys. Yeah, I appreciate everybody. Just quickly, I'm going to be donating, so I was just going to play her walking across the bridge. Just give you guys an idea of what this bridge is like if you haven't seen it. It's pretty gnarly. So while that's playing real quick, I am just going to turn in the donation real quick. If it buffers, I apologize. Buffer warning.
Platform 1. Deer Creek. Girls were found over there. There's massive gaps in this 70-foot drop. Here's my favorite one yet. Now that I've crossed the bridge a couple times. This is wild. They're all just falling apart. Every few feet they're missing. Platform 2.
Yeah, it is very dangerous. Okay, where is the...
This is the approximate location of Libby's first photo. It's platform 3 in the background. Creek is down below still.
Oh, I have to do it through Facebook.
Platform 3. The second picture came from Libby standing on the corner of this platform. Just took a picture of Abby facing that way.
Facebook.
Walking.
Oh, is it buffering? Okay. Maybe, I might have to, send the donations in and then take a screenshot for you guys because, right now I've got to be able to get the 3 times I have to do like multiple things. And so last time I did it live, but this time to be able to get it 3 times I have to do like multiple things, and it's probably going to cause me to buffer, and you guys ain't going to watch me. You guys are going to watch me buffer. That's not going to be any fun. So I'm going to probably because this has gone pretty long. So yeah, I apologize for the buffer, you guys. So I was gonna do it live like I did the last 2 times that we sent in donations, but to be able to get it matched, I had to do like a bunch of things. So I am gonna probably end it, and then I'll just take a screenshot for you guys. I was kind of hoping to do it live, but unfortunately. So is this on YouTube? Yeah, that video. Yeah, you can find that on YouTube. As a matter of fact, I credit the person in the video as well. But yeah, that's her walking across the thing. But yeah, Tom, man, I've got a playlist full of videos. And then, like I said, that link that I forgot to pin at the top is a good site to go to. I'll put it in the description of this video, but I think I'm going to end it there so this live doesn't go on too long. Thank you, Tom, and thank you, everybody, for the donations. I am going to donate as soon as I get off here, and then I'll go take a screenshot of it, and then I'll put it on the community post, and then I'll also share it during the next live, but because I've got to do a bunch of different things to make sure it gets matched. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. And yeah, like I said, Tom, and those that are new to this case, there's a lot of stuff, but I do got playlists. I will be on Marvelous Investigates tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central, and we'll be talking about part 2 of Persons of Interest, and they do wonderful things. So I thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. It's Easter Sunday this weekend. And those for members, I do After Dark series where after the video or after a live, I kind of do like a 10-minute video sharing things that I've kind of forgot to talk about in the live, and just kind of go through some thoughts that I have about the case that I cover on that live show. So that's for members only. So all right, guys, I appreciate everything, and we will see you guys tomorrow. And thank you, mods. Thank you, everybody. Again, thank you so much.